To continue the conversation on the role gender plays in the agricultural world, we're now here with CIMMYT's own Sarah Hearne. Sarah, what is the importance of gender balance in science and agriculture?
Women make up 50%, just over 50% of the population. However, if you look at their representation within the agricultural area, the research area specifically, we're massively underrepresented. So there's all of those views and the different perspectives that women bring. They're not really right or more correct than those that a man would bring. They're just different. And by excluding them from that part of the workforce, you're losing that additional information that you can bring in to decision making. So if you look in the public sector, a lot of those professions and a lot of the companies that have better gender balance in the workforce tend to have higher profits. We could see that translated to the research field. Instead of profits, we look at overall impact. So by increasing the amount of women who are present in that decision-making process, you can get a more balanced idea of what is required in the agricultural research and development agenda, and hopefully translate that into higher impact in the future.
And what advice would you give to a woman working or aspiring to work in science and agriculture?
There are lots of things you could pick. One thing, a key thing, would be to check your own prejudice. We all come along with our own baggage of prejudice, whether we recognise that or not. One of the key things that I often hear is men can't multitask and women can't read maps and all of these gender-loaded statements that come. Well, sorry, half of the men I know can multitask better than I can, and I could probably navigate us out of a jungle and they couldn't. So we've really got to try and come at things with a much more open viewpoint. Yeah, if we want equal treatment and we're looking to equitable treatment, we should try and treat others with that manner. The other thing is self-confidence. I see it even now with young girls of my daughter's age. They tend to lose confidence in certain areas. And I think that's key, not to be overconfident. It's to have confidence in your own abilities and really to build a network of people who, if you're feeling unsure, you can go and check things with. I tend to find that people who are overconfident, whether male and female, you can bring a lot of errors into the work that way. So having a very depreciating sense of confidence and your own abilities is very helpful. Another thing is looking at career paths. A lot of people leaving schools and leaving colleges can have a very defined career path. In 5 years I need to be here, in 10 years I need to be somewhere else. And I have many colleagues asking me, what do you want to be doing in 5 years' time? Well, I like doing the research that I do. I enjoy it. I want to find enjoyment in my work every day. And so I've never followed a direct career path. And I think it can be very unhelpful to be so rigid. You lose the ability to find those additional opportunities if you're so focused on a specific career path. So really I'd advise women and men really to enjoy that journey. You get a lot more out of it and find other things that can help stimulate you in a career sense. For women moving into organisations, I think it's very important to get a good feeling of the particular gender play and gender balance within the institution. And that can be positive, it can be negative. And really to help find allies who can help you navigate that situation. There are many different strategies that you can use, but people who've been there longer than you may be aware of what may work and what doesn't work. From the day-to-day work, I find it very helpful not to accept gender-loaded statements, and we all get them. I'm often called bossy, which I never ever hear any of my male colleagues are called bossy. They're assertive, or oh, he's been quite tough today. So I find it very helpful not to accept those statements, and I'm not aggressive in the way I act, but I will say, well, can we find a different way of describing my behaviour today rather than bossy? There are situations going beyond that of moving into harassment and sexual harassment, and I'd really encourage any woman absolutely never to accept that. You've got to find a way of calling it out. Even if it means leaving a workplace, I would encourage people to do that. And this can be very difficult when you're very early in your career, and it's quite scary once you've got a job leaving that job. So I'd advise women from a very early age in a career to start almost having a small nest egg of funding. So if you really do need to leave a workplace, you have the financial flexibility to do that. So you're not having to put up with different forms of harassment linked to that. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.